Hello and welcome to the Dataflow channel. As part of Fabric series, today we are going to do some demos on Dataflow Gen2. We will first create Dataflow Gen2 in the Fabric UI. Then we will create some Power Queries. We will then see what is the difference between reference and duplicate functionality. We will schedule a Dataflow Gen2, and at the end we will run the Dataflow Gen2 by a pipeline and also understand what are the advantages of using pipelines. The multiple workspaces I have. For this demo, we are going to use Gen2 testing workspace. There are three items already present. Let's create a new item, Gen2 item. Click on create. We can see a UI, and this UI is something you already see when you work on the Power BI in the Power Query editor. This is almost the same with some added functionality. So in any typical pipeline, there are three main things. First is the ingestion of data. Ingestion is nothing but you connect to a source and get the data where you want to analyze. Then you transform the data using a series of transformation, and transformations are of various kind. Some include data quality checks. Sometimes you just change the data type. Sometimes you rename the column. Sometimes you change some values to improve the quality of data, or sometimes you can even create some new columns for further analysis. So Gen2 has over 300 plus transformation support inside the UI. It uses a language called M in the background, and M is not complicated at all. If you want to learn, you can easily learn. But I suggest you should know basics of M. We'll create a separate video to cover that. Now M language, so source, transformation, and then come destination, where you're going to keep the good quality of data. Now let's see everything now. So we will first get the data from another source, and here we can see the one lake catalog where we can see all the sources which you have access. So we are going to use Iceberg Demo Lakehouse, part of Iceberg Testing Workspace. So let's click on that. As they reside inside the one lake, you can easily create a connection. No need to set up anything else. So it's currently connecting to Iceberg Demo. It will take few seconds. Okay, now it's connected and you can see some metadata tables, and the table which we are interested is bronze properties new. So I've created a notebook to load the bronze data in this table, and it's nothing but properties listings data, and then it will be something like this. Let me show you. So right move. Okay, rand, and let's give HA1. Okay, so something like this. Each property has a display name, butler's type, and bedroom bathrooms, and many other details. Okay, rent also. So that is the data. That is basically a sample extract of any website like this, where the landlords list their or landlords or agent list their properties. That's fine. This is the listing data, and let's click on create. As soon you click on create, you can see there's a option called query settings. If you click on that, you can see a series of steps recorded here. So Power Query Engine, which is the backbone of Dataflow Gen2, it's creating the applied step one by one as soon you connect something or you transform anything. So if you see these steps, first is the source. So we can see the code also, the M code. So there it's basic all the way workspaces list, and then in the navigation part, go to view, step script. Okay, so you can see it has selected the workspace. Once you are inside workspace, you're going to select the lakehouse ID, and then it will item kind, table, bronze properties new. So whatever we have selected in the as a source, it has created as a steps. Okay, and these tabs you can delete, and if you click on this icon, you can even update. You can see. So that's fine. Now, so I minimize this. Next tab, this is the basically diagram view. Okay, and then this is data view, and if you click on schema view, it will show you the data type of each column. Great. Interested in data view, so we'll click on this. Same thing you can do even here. We want to change the values of, or we can say transform the values of furnished column, because we want to have either yes or no. Yes means furnished, no means unfurnished or part furnished. Let's change the values. How to change the values is pretty much simple. Gen2, you have to remember, you have to do everything using UI, or you can write M code. I will show you how. So you have two options. One is transform, another is add column. Transform is if you want to change anything in a particular column, existing column, you are going to use transform. And add column, it's quite obvious. If you are adding a new column, we have some options. Column, for example, custom column, conditional column, AI prompt column, and some other options. So you are creating a new derived column, you can say. Okay. Now let's change the value. So you two option, either you can right click here, select this and right click. You have the writing options, or you can do here also replace values. Yeah, we're going to use replace values in this case. So replace value, let's click y to yes. We want only two values, yes or no. So we are changing y to yes, but this time it will not work. Let me show you. Why it's not work? Why it's not working? Because you have not selected the complete cell option. So you will just right click and it is replacing every occurrence. So we'll go to advanced, click on match entire, and let's change y to yes. Click on OK. Now I had another option of making this change. So you can click on this settings and you can see same thing. You can change even using this icon. Oh, okay. We need to delete this tab because this was not required. And if you want to see what we have done as part of the previous tab, let's see. So we have replaced by videos. This is unnecessary because it is redundant here. So what we will do, we will click on cancel and we will delete this tab. So you can click on cross and then you can delete this tab. Right, it worked. So yes, we got yes instead of y. Now let's change and to no. Advanced. Match entire cell. Click on OK. Another step added. Okay. So now and change to no. Now we are going to change furnace to yes. And this time you can select advanced or you can, this option, or it will, even this option will work. We can click on OK. Only one thing remain. We have some uppercase yes. So let's change. Now this time we will go to transform column, text transforms. Okay. And we will click on capitalize each word. Notice we don't get any setting option here. So for some steps, you will not be able to update later. Either you can keep it or you can delete it using this cross. Right, so furnace looks great. We don't need to do anything else. Now let's focus on city column. City column, we can see LDN instead of London. So let's change this. And this time we will use transform UI option. So let's change the replace value here. Two places you can do. Okay. Now we will say LDN to London. And I will even check this. It's safer option basically. Sometime become mandatory. Right. So city also looks great now. I want to show you how you can change data type. Notice these three columns should be integer format. Now in query editor or Gen2, you have these many types: decimal number, currency, whole number, percentage, date time zone, time, duration, text, true false, binary, and using local. Local is used for basically date formats and all. Time zone is if you want to give time zone, date time zone. Okay, so let's change it to whole number. That is something for integer data type here. And if you have something in float or double, then decimal number. So I will select this whole number. So change column type step. You can see it has changed and it has recorded this step. And again you can change. So if you click on here, you can. Now this is again you are getting this locale option. Ignore this. In the bathrooms, again, let's change the data type to whole number. Now realize one more thing. If they are similar operations, it's not creating any new step. It's updating the existing step. Yeah. So it's intelligent enough to understand because the transformations are similar. So it's grouping rather than creating a separate step. Again, we will change rent in pounds to whole number. One more added. Let's change postcode. So in postcode, we can see there are some hyphen. Okay, here. Let's change it with, or let's change with space. Yeah, that makes sense. So hyphen change to space. Click on how I'm doing, one space like this. Okay, change. New stop, sorry, new step gets recorded here. And now I want to keep only outward code. So UK postcode format is the outward code space and inward code. Okay. And inward code, like the last three characters, always three characters. But the first part before space can be two, three, four. You can see it's changing. But the last three always three characters. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use a special type of transformation. Let's click here. And we are going to split the column by number of characters. You have to go to advanced, and since we are going to replace the split it from the right side, three characters, I am giving 3, and I'm checking this once as far right as possible, splitting into columns. Okay, done. Let's rename these. So you can even rename double clicking here, and I will say outward. Realize again, two steps clubbed into one because they are similar transformation. So now we have done everything or something remain. Yeah, one more thing. So availability date is currently text. ABC means text. And load date is date. That is fine. So let's change it to date. And how we can change? Again, select it. Right. So we get these many steps. Now, if you want to write using code, how to write it? Go to home, click on advanced editor. And this is the complete code. So what I mean, if I copy this, click on cancel, otherwise it will run again. So, and if I right click and create a new blank query, it will create the exact query. Let's see. Click on next. See, it has created the query because everything is code, right? If you copy the code and run it again, give the editor again the same code, it will create that. So I'm going to delete this. This is similar to duplicate option, which we are going to discuss now. The option called duplicate and reference. We will come to that once we configure the destination, but let's delete. I want to show you this so that, and if you want to code, so if you want to code here, you can click on fit to view, and let's go to the, okay, so we will select this, click on advanced editor. You need to select if you want to view the code, and here is not nothing difficult. You just need to know the options, like table dot replace value needs to be used for replacing value, table dot transform is being columns being used to transform, and then you can code. And even some of the data is auto populated. Okay, we will cover the M code, how to write M code in a separate tutorial, but this is a variable. We define variable, we do something, and we can pass the variable to next step. Like, see, navigation is being, okay, and at the end it will be populated in a the last column. Everything will be the whole data. So let's click on cancel. That's work fine. Now we are going to configure Lakehouse or Warehouse. We have the flexibility. What can be a destination? If you click here, you have option of even adding the default destination. So it will be a default. It will be treated as default whenever you, if you don't configure anything as destination for a particular Power Query, then this will be considered as a destination. I'm not going to configure that, but just want to let you know. So we'll configure destination for this query. Now everything is called query here in terms of Dataflow Gen2. New destination, click on more so that we can see. Now these are the destinations supported. We are going to see two, Lakehouse and Warehouse. Now there is a difference. When you select the Lakehouse, you can select the Lakehouse in even in other workspaces. But in case of Warehouse, it has to be in the same workspace where I am creating this flow. So remember that. So first we will configure the Lakehouse. You can add it if you like, and you can even change authentication kind. By editing the connection. Okay, now you can see all the workspaces, and it will be a new table because the existing table, there is no existing table. Even there is option on new files in preview, don't use for production currently. Let it be in GA, general availability. Then you can use in production. Okay, so don't trust preview things. Now we are going to select iceberg testing, but there is one thing important, and iceberg demo lakehouse. Since we are source of this data, like the whole Power Query is bronze properties new only. Remember when we configure the source, we have uh, configured this table name as the source data. So you can't use same name because again it will going to create a new delta table in the lakehouse. And no matter you create a warehouse or the lakehouse item in Fabric, everything is stored in delta packet format in the one lake. But only difference is warehouse engine is different and lakehouse engine is different. That's why you see this differences when you run. You can run anything in the warehouse SQL, I mean, but you have limitations on running on Lakehouse by the endpoint SQL endpoint, I mean. So we will give different name, otherwise we'll give you an error. Let's see what error we get. So we are getting the specified table already exists. And why it happened? Because the Power Query name is populated as table name. You have the flexibility of changing this Power Query name as well as this table name, up to you. I will advise to keep it same so that there is no confusion. So what we will do, we will click on cancel, and first we will change this name, and we will rename. We will say transform. Okay, now we have changed. Another way is click on query settings and change here. Okay, now that's fine. So let's save also. Don't run, save. So when you save only, then it will be reflected. Otherwise, it's saved in the draft version. Okay, that's fine. Draft is saved of this. Now what we're going to do again, let's configure the destination because the name has been corrected. And as I told you, better you keep same name. Otherwise, you might get confused because the target table name, delta table name will be different. What you see here. So let's select iceberg testing. Click on this. This is basically the workspace. Then we have to select the lakehouse item and you click on next. Now here you will see all the data types. You can see we have transformed. It's coming as whole number, date, text. Everything is fine. Outward, inward. Looks great. Now you have option of. Okay. So if you click on this radio button, now if you click here, you can see options. So for update method, this can be append or replace, and schema option of publish can be dynamic schema or fixed schema. For warehouse, you can't change. You can't enable schema. This is called schema evolution, right? Dynamic schema. So you can't do. For Lakehouse only, it's possible. We'll show you. So let's go with replace and dynamic schema. Okay, that's fine. Save settings. Now the destination has been configured, and that is nothing but Lakehouse. How you can see? You can go there and you can see update method replace, column mapping, bronze property transform, the lake house, workspace name, everything is visible here. One more thing I want to show you. So there is an option called profiling, column profiling. Yeah. So if I go here in the view and if I click on data view, I can enable some option. Let's see what will happen. You can see the data quality of each column this way, and it's a great option. You can see how many are distinct, unique. Even for the column which we change, furnace, you can see there are two distinct values. So it's quite useful. Okay, I'm disabling it, but I want to show you this option. Just data, basic data quality check, and you can change this. If you want to do some subset, you can check this. If you want to do the profiling on complete data, entire data set, you can enable this. That's fine. So source configured, transformation done. and destination also configured. We are done with this query. Now let's see what is the duplicate option and reference option, which I was talking before. If I click here, I can see both duplicate and reference. If I click on duplicate, nothing but it will create a duplicate query. And when you trigger this, both query will be triggered. It's useful when you want to run two different queries, slightly different queries. So you can now just change the and destination maybe if you want to write it to a test region, maybe for some testing. Up to you. But this is one of the option I want to show you. So we can click on duplicate and it's create exactly new duplicate. Everything will remain same. You can see here. Okay. So sources is same, but destination will not be copied. Yeah, that's right. Why? Because if you see, it's not present as part of M code. This is M code. This is different. Okay. Data destination is not part of M code. I can show you. So that's the reason. If you let me disable these so that we can have more space. Okay. So let's select this by clicking and we will go here, advanced editor. So whatever you see in this code, that will be only copied. If you enable other option for the master or the parent that query, it will not be copied. And destination, you see, there is no destination here. Only source we have taken as part of this query. And that's the reason you don't see, okay? So you need to configure maybe if you want to, you can do that. And one more thing, if we change here in the parent one or the master one, if you change enable this, enable staging, increment and refresh, require fast copy, any other option, it will not be copied also, because that is outside the M code you are doing additional functionality. Okay, same to our destination configuration. So when you copy, remember this thing. I will just delete. I just want to show you. And let's delete. How to delete? Click on delete. Now let's see reference option. So if you click here and reference, this is the way of chaining the queries or power queries. And this is called dependent query. This is called referenced query. Okay. Let me show you. So reference query is bronze properties transform and dependent query is bronze properties underscore transform 2. Let's change this name. As I said, whatever you choose, that will be default in the destination. Default data table name, I mean. So we will say warehouse. And the whatever the data you get in this Power Query at the last step, that will be feed into the dependent query. Okay. So this will be act as a source. You can see source configured as bronze properties transform. Let's configure destination for this dependent query. We will click on. Now, let's see one more thing before we do that. So, how you can create, again, how we can have two dependent query rather than one. You can simply go to the main query and again click on reference. And this way you will get branch. it worked. So I will again delete this as I don't need, but I want to show you that you do have flexibility. Now, if you want to again change the first dependent query with another dependent query, you can click here on reference. You can see. Now this source will be, since it's chaining, warehouse one, this one. Okay, let's again delete this. And this icon shows it will also use some additional compute. That's why you can see this lightning icon. Let's delete. Uh, I click on rename by mistake. Let's click on delete. Next thing what we will do, we will click on, you select this. Uh, let's click on, so you have full screen. Let's click on fit to view. Now if I select this, I can see this icon, destination one. And this time I will select warehouse. Okay, because it's already there. So what I will do, I will just edit the connection and I will give a different name. I will call it warehouse con 1. You can even choose privacy level. Now let's click on next. This time it will work. Okay, it worked. But for performance reason, only warehouse is the current workspace as shown. So remember this. When you configure the warehouse, it has to be within the same workspace. But for Lakehouse, we have already seen we can go to any other workspace. You should have access. That's the only criteria. Okay. So we don't have any warehouse in this. No, we do have warehouse one, warehouse Gen2. Let's select this and it will be a new table again. Now, what will be the new table name? Same as Power Query, which is transformed to, I guess. Yeah, let's click on next. We will see. So transform warehouse. Yeah, that will be the name. Now here you don't have a dynamic schema because warehouse we can't. You can never do schema evolution like what you can do in Lakehouse. So that's why it disabled. Okay, we keep everything same. Now there is one thing interesting. This is also disabled. Click on save settings. Done. Last validated at 1849. So you can validate it. Let's save and click on check validation. So validation currently in progress. It will validate whether everything you have configured is right or not. Okay, last validated at 1901. Yeah, succeeded. Now we can run. First, let's run it. Save and run. And let's see what will happen. It's running. You can click here and then you can see the instance. Now it's currently in progress. It will be on demand. because we are running it manually. You can refresh, it will take a few seconds, so we have to wait. Creating delta table of in the lake house as well in the warehouse, hence it will take some more time. Okay, that's the reason, because they are new tables. Succeeded. Great. Let's go to warehouse item first. Warehouse Gen2, and here you will see a table for the dependent. Click on DBO, click on tables. Okay, so transform warehouse is here. Everything worked fine. You can run any SQL here as it's a warehouse. Let's run a query just to see. Okay, it worked. With city equal to just okay, there's no data. London, and we got all the data. It's working fine. Let's see Lakehouse data now. So we have to go to other workspace, iceberg testing. They have to go to iceberg demo Lakehouse. Okay, transform. This is the delta table. It worked. File view. And if you see the properties, delta format. Okay, great. Everything worked as expected. Now we are going to schedule this. How you can do? So go to the Gen2, click on three dots, and you can go to settings, or let's go to schedule directly. And here you can add the schedule. So you can add the schedule. Let's me show you. I will disable this later, but let's do it for every 1 minute. Click on save. Schedule has been added. It's quite simple. As soon as you click on cross, you can see next refresh, refresh, and next refresh. Okay, so it has updated. And another, if you go here, another instance will be running shortly. Shortly it will run. So now we have seen how we can configure the schedule directly in the Gen2 item. And when you do like this, you don't have control on retries, you don't have control on timeout. So there are few disadvantages. Pipeline will not, pipeline will be quite useful because you can configure other options, as I said, timeout or its retries. Even you can, in case of any failure, you can raise an alert by mail or Teams channel, team group, anything. It started. Okay. So now if you click here, this time it's scheduled. Okay, this is done. And every minute, that's why it's submitted. Another one. So what I will do, I will click on cross and disable the, otherwise it will keep on submitting. So go to Gen2, and I will settings also you can go schedule, or you can directly go enable disable. So easy, done. So it will definitely submit one more, yeah, because it's every minute. Okay, that's fine. So this worked. Now let's see how you can run it using pipeline. Go to Gen2 testing and create a new item called pipeline. So pipeline. There's only one pipeline, so pipeline 2, that's fine. But give a meaningful name if you are in production. Okay, now it's ADF kind UI with some additional options. Click on activities, then you can see the complete activity list. I will select data flow, give it a meaningful name. In our case, it's 2. And pipeline UI give you these extra features where you can activate or deactivate. You can also mention the timeout retry interval. So timeout retry interval you won't get when you schedule it directly inside Gen2. And that's the advantage we have when we are going to run with the pipeline. Even you can secure input and output. Let's go to settings and select Dataflow Gen2. So we have configured the data flow. Fine. Now you can configure or you can change data flow whatever way you want. So I can, if I have multiple, you can use Control C, Control B to copy the same activity. I can easily configure, you know, and you can have different data flows than triggered after this if you are creating some kind of pipeline logic. If you use the reference of option, you can set the dependencies inside a data flow with for different power queries. But if you choose the pipeline, you can run different data flow whatever way you want. And one design question will be whether you have to go for the reference option or you can create separate power queries in different data flow. So that depends how far complex is, that depends how complex are the transformations applied, and it also depends what kind of performance you are looking for. Let's delete because we don't need, just want to show you. Another thing, pipelines provide you the option to configure alerts or notifications. So if I select email here, I can easily send email, or I have the option of even selecting Teams. So these options were not present in the traditional ADF in Azure, Azure Data Factory in Azure. They have recently added here. And I like this feature. So you can configure the email, you can send to a list or a particular person who is responsible for monitoring, and it can be static or dynamic, depends. You can easily create subject, so you can give something like this, pipeline, and then you can use the parameters. to provide the system variables to provide the pipeline dot pipeline name, and then again you can say something like failed at, and you can configure, then go to functions. You can use some UTC now, or if you want to give in your time zone, you can use this format data time, whatever way you like. And again, the body you can configure something like this: hello team, pipeline run. You can choose run ID, failed, details are listed below. Again, select, and you can then activity output can be also, and then regards monitoring team, something like this. And you can even change the color. So I will just make it bold, and I will choose red color. And even you can add emojis, font, paragraph formatting, list, everything is here. You can even attach a lot of things. Okay, similar options true for teams. You can easily configure. You can send the notification to channel or group chat. Of course, you have to create connection first, and then you can draft. You have to select the group chat, and here the some channel details, and you can then draft message very easily. Will not be able to show you guys because I don't have access. So I will just delete, and then we will just go and save. Saved. You can validate and run. Now it's running. Queued. You can turn off auto refresh. Now it's running. It will trigger the Dataflow Gen2, and you can see in the UI also. Let's see. You can see it's running. Oh, I clicked on wrong. Succeeded. That's great. So pipeline worked. It will show now succeeded. That's even you can refresh here. Succeeded. Done. You can schedule here, and you can even add triggers. So let's click on schedule, and we can add the schedule in a similar way. We will add 2 minutes this time, and let's save it. can see all the run history here. So it will submit another instance shortly. But there might be a delay in the status. Currently, it's still showing in progress. Don't worry about that. Okay, not started. It's going to run now. So there's a delay, as I said. Now what you can do, Dataflow 2 is running, you can see here. So Fabric has some issues sometime in updating the status, as we have seen. Succeeded. Done. So now you have seen we can even run and schedule using the pipeline option. Let's change the schedule and turn it off. Okay, now that's the view run history. Still, it's not updated, but the previous one now updated. So we have seen today how we can run using pipeline and what advantage it offers, like timeout, retry interval, and even you can configure alerts or notification if it's something you want to do. When it failed, you need a notification. Now even there is an option called trigger where you can even add trigger and you can pass some parameters using, but I think it's in preview, so we are not going to use the parameters here. But yeah, you can easily create a rule here and you can select some events. So it can be job event, one leg event, anomaly detection event, their preview, and a job log storage event. If you want some action when a file is arrived in blob, something like that. So it's all part of real-time hub, which we will explore in the future upcoming videos. Okay, so you can create a rule also. It have provided another way of triggering this pipeline apart from normal time scheduling. Like and subscribe the channel if you think this content is useful. We will keep on bringing more demos, and that will include some complex pipelines, and even we will discuss how we can do everything in a production way. Because in production you have to keep in mind of various other things, but I don't want to complicate if someone is new to the Gen2 or the Fabric. So that's why we are starting with basics, but we would keep on building some complex pipelines in the upcoming demos. Thank you so much.